Welcome back to the Hawkeye Garage. I'm Joe, back again with the GX470 for a simple video that I think you're all going to enjoy, so stay tuned. Admittedly, not the most groundbreaking topic here today, but applies directly to the GX470s with my specific install, but also widely to all vehicles with the general principles. We're talking about dash cams, front and rear in this case, something that's fairly common in the automotive world these days, but something that I hadn't really dwelled too much upon, but the fact that when we go visit family, we do drive through Chicago twice, there and back, and I don't know if you've driven through a big city lately, but people are insane and don't know how to drive. So I thought it might be some good inexpensive insurance to add to this, having a front and rear facing camera, and thought I would show you where I mounted them specifically on the 470. Again, it is, you know, pretty generic on where you want to mount them on your vehicle, and how I did the direct wiring specific to this 470, and admittedly probably pretty darn close to being specific to any Toyota of this generation that you drive. And of course the same principle applies to any other vehicle as well. So let's take a quick look at the cameras real quick first, and then we'll take a look at the wiring. So here is the front camera. It's just mounted there behind my rear view mirror, just with some 3M adhesive on the glass. It's pretty unexciting. I will link the cameras down below that I got and everything. This is not a sponsored video. I did some research and just bought these on my own. So far, so good. So I will link those down below. Wiring, there's two plugs. One goes to the power and one connects to the rear camera. That's how this is set up. And then the wiring goes up, and let's see, along the windshield. A lot of cars you'd be able to tuck it up underneath the headliner. There's not a lot of space to do that, but these cameras came with, I don't know if you guys can tell, those little clips. I've got a couple of these little clips that just stuck to the glass that came with it. It's actually worked really well, and you can't really tell that the camera is there. And then of course over to the A-pillar, and then I just have it tucked in along all of the trim. You know, didn't have to remove anything. I did have to remove this A-pillar trim. That's the only thing that I had to remove. Everything else, I just used a little plastic trim tool. A lot of times your weather stripping will just pop down, no big deal. And I just tucked the wiring for the rear camera all the way back to here. Now obviously the GX platform is a little bit different to most of your other SUVs because it has the swing out barn door. You would probably mount the camera to the hatch and then run the wiring through the hatch. Let's see, there is a little plastic, you can't see it because obviously the camera's there. There's a little plastic thumb like push pin that holds the headliner up there, and there is adhesive, 3M adhesive pad again on the back of this camera, and then this camera swivels all the way around so you can flip it, whatever, and then in the app you can orientate, you can mirror the image to whichever way you need to. And this gives me plenty of view out the back. It's perfect. You can't really even tell that it's not centered. And again, just tucked my wiring up into the weather stripping, all the way down along the trim and to the front, and that's how this camera connects to the front camera. Now, as far as I could tell looking on Amazon, that's basically how any front and rear camera kits work. The front camera hooks to power, the rear camera wires around and hooks directly into that front camera. If you're going to get front and rear eventually, or that's what you want, it seems very advantageous to buy a front and rear together in one kit at the same time, not piece of front and rear together after the fact. Several that I looked at, if you bought, because they do offer, a lot of them offer the front, the rear, or the kit, you get a little bit more of a discount if you buy it together. And then if you buy the wiring kit, which a lot of them seem to charge extra for the direct wiring, all of them come with like a cigarette lighter adapter plug, which I personally don't like because it just is hanging out there. If you want a direct wiring kit, that's usually extra. And a lot of the ones that I looked at, if you bought it at the same time, they gave you a little bit of discount on that wiring kit. So let's go ahead and look under the dash where I put that wiring. Okay, here's the fuse panel underneath the dash here. You're gonna need 2 hookups. Well, technically 3. You're gonna need a power for when the car is on, a power that's just 24/7, and then a ground. I have my ground tucked up underneath here. There was like a bracket holding the emergency brake, or not the emergency brake, like the hood release brackets and everything underneath there. So I just screwed it to that. You need a bolt that is bolted to metal for your ground. To get the power, all these kits you're gonna need, like I said, power that's just 24/7 and power that turns on when the car is on. Get yourself one of these continuity testers. You're gonna clip this to a ground. Again, just a piece of metal. That's gonna be your ground. And then this is going to tell you where your power is coming from. Actually kind of hard on the Toyotas. I've noticed that if they have a fuse that's not used, like there's one on the end here, it won't have any power going to it. I've noticed, like in the past on my Fords and stuff that I've had, if it's a blank fuse, there usually will still just be power going to one side of it, and you can steal power from that. That has not been the case with the Toyotas. So I have these fuse jumpers, which is a wire that has a fuse plug on the end, and then you pull out the fuse that you're stealing the plug for, plug that fuse in to the end here, and then you plug another fuse, and so basically you're getting 2 circuits out of 1 fuse. Now these are just 15 amp fuses. That's not a big deal. None of this is pulling major amperage. I believe what I used was the rear wash and the power outlet. So one of those was switched power and one of those was constant power. The reason that it wants constant power is that you can select in the app to make the camera run 24/7 if it detects motion. So like if you're parked on the curb, somebody hits you, it will record that. I haven't had the misfortune of being hit while I was parked, so I can't really relate to that feature. But then also this bypasses having to plug a cigarette lighter adapter into your dash, and this is just all tucked up under nicely. And of course I just ran it underneath the dash. It's really easy behind the center console, which is easier than you might think. Underneath the there's some trim underneath the glove box, and then up and over. I think these Lexi? What's the plural? Lexus. Have a lot of extra trim underneath because they don't want you to see anything like you would ever see anything up underneath the dash anyway. But so I had to drop a couple of trim panels and run the wire up, but fairly easy. So again, ground, so that's your negative. 2 positives, one that has power when the car is turned off, one that has power when the car is turned on. Your little $15 continuity tester will help you find that. A couple of those plug adapters, which I'll freeze frame right here for you, and I'll try to link down below as well. Wiring up to your camera, wiring to the back, and then install your app, and you're good to go. All right, like I said, quick, easy, simple. Again, check those links out down below to see what I have, and then you can explore like items if you don't like those particular ones. I haven't needed to use any of the footage from those cameras, thankfully, but does seem to be recording and looks pretty good. The rear cameras are always lower definition. I don't know why that needs to be a thing. And you will need most likely to provide your own micro SD card, but those things are stupid cheap these days as well. So that's pretty much all there is to it. If you have any comments, questions, please feel free down below. Email me, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com. If you're new to the channel, this is a lot of stuff that I've been doing lately, actually just really simple DIY stuff. More so than kind of some of the more complicated suspension and off-road stuff that I've done in the past. These videos seems to do really well. You guys really like them, get a lot of interaction through the videos, so I enjoy that. Of course, follow the links down below over to my Instagram and Facebook, where I'm posting more than just the video stuff, day-to-day life things as well. If you're new to the channel, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. I'd sure appreciate that. And until the next video drops, thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye.